It's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're all friends now, she gets it.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it—
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the—
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So—
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them— There are only a few days left until the performance.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have a—
If you're interested in helping, maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon. Paimon approved. Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two! Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a—
I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer— If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of— All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband? You're splitting?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. What if we sponsored the show?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the more, that we should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about— That's how you know we're the best of partners. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical—
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're—
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours. Well, yes. Fair enough. I mean, if she was I'm sure everyone in our troupe is probably— Of course, it all depends on—
No point in stressing about that. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty.
Thank you for your help.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved.
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought it is my duty to support commissioners in any—
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find
I can't believe they're seriously asking Lady Furina.
Try not to worry. Step on up!
Did Catherine really give us the right address? Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just,
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when...
Ah! Okay, when did popping on a thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you...
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that's not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre fausse.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to...
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around...
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well, maybe...
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... Fine. So tell me, what... I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of fun. But given the present
How come? It sounds like this would be a
True, but I have made a decision. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's...
Whether it's a one-off or not, if I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same. So I'm not going to perform.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do? Do you know any other actors who might be interested in...
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help. True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this... Sorry.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right.
Toodaloo.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my...
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now?
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So,
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have... You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Stage...
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really...
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again... So, are you absolutely...
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication. I share every one of us thinks of this...
You're right. I'm sorry.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot... All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna...
I was just ever so slightly concerned. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my... And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. I'm sorry, but...
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable. I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after. But in any case...
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean...
There's no need to think like that. And I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe.
We all want to believe that, but... Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in...
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no...
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first... She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and people loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from...
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, none of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it...
Oh.
What a terrible... I suppose it's fair to say, then, that this final show, besides being...
Yes, exactly.
Well, good thing I followed the Traveler here. I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point, but only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese, is that the law only... What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting... Take, par example...
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues. You just want to get back in on the action, don't
No. This is a completely different situation.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's. All right, follow me. Huh? Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello, all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on a— You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the...
So, you were saying the little...
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the protagonist of the story is: a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human. She longed to live just like any other human. But one day, her true identity was exposed. And
So far, so good. A classic tale.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions.
we still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean...
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than... But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some... And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him.
Although, now
What opportunity?
maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rap.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to...
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubt. But one by one, all the obstacles...
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and he went back to Poisson a few days ago.
I thought the last thing is...
Yeah, maybe he could get...
Poisson? Nothing. I suppose my presence will... So, allons-y. To...
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is this...
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script.
Okay then.
So, as expected, he's...
The ending is one of the most important Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make...
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but...
I was wondering if we might...
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. Well, get over here, you! How oblivious...
How are things in Poisson now?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process.
I'm... sorry.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time, which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to avoid upsetting the peace. I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, it's always easiest to just run away from your problem.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of... Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying, I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see.
Look, there seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? Surprise! I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll.
We don't mind. It's actually
Great. Well, I appreciate your company. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason. As I stand here by the ship, they thought their god would end all the while. I played my part, but then the floodwaters finally came.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. Fortunately, we were able to avoid. Everyone rose to their responsibilities. But on some level, freedom also.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was. Believe in the furina you see on stage. I had to keep all my feelings.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. At least the choice is. All right.
Sure.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly.
Oh no, looks like. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences.
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your. Paulo's nearly done.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl.
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid.
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too. Like when he imparts some solemn words. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this true?
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbol. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves full. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up.
She sounds like a really incredible
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was one day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point.
Let me guess. Fortunately,
Yeah, for the first time.
The day you hoped would never come.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my...
please, the honor is all mine. I was profound.
Here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Ah, yes, the script, of course. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, the people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. Plants and flowers. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land.
Consciousness? You mean
Water as a conscious entity. There.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity. Her lover accepts her for who she is and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away and faces the greatest dilemma.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love. One that extended to all of humanity.
there's actually something else that... You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if... the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director O'Reilly's death. Both arbitrary. On the day when she went missing, Director O'Reilly had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we looked for her, the Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed...
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called...
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was...
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing.
Villemont? The one who's playing...
Yeah, he's been overwhelmed by grief.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, because... Well, speaking of the play being true to life,
What? You...
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the... I did tell her how I felt once. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe, well, maybe then she could reconsider. And now, that...
Oh, Paul.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly.
In that case, you have to straighten things. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them...
Well, if that's where we're at, looks...
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our... Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what
I certainly do. Come on, everyone.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
As if this journey wasn't tough.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take... wait, why are you all looking at me?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen...
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnity.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like...
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
Hey, lay off, all right? My bluff is hanging from a thread here. I'm sorry. I got carried away.
Aw, too bad. I was so
Sorry to leave all the heavy lift.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Head.
Let the magic begin!
Dodge this!
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Freeze!
Over here!
Step on up.
The tides beckon.
Shadow Raven, let night fall.
Over here!
Cue the spotlight.
Settle down.
By royal decree.
Silence.
Dodge this!
Wings of darkness, come, sever night from day.
Settle down. Let the mighty be humbled.
Surprise!
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that... I care if I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things...
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death...
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for O'Reilly was a point of shame. I never brought it, but now I've made the little Oceanid cannot be.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that we took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but so, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, it seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. The drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes, and I told the director everything right, but she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant, and the merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe, and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told me, I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I got
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew O'Reilly was in danger. What do you mean? You were afraid. This was a life in. How could you be so?
Please, try not to get too.
Yeah, listen to him!
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy. And he has the gall to try and high road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show.
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me. End my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight. Go, get lost.
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other. Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just...
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's... But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell what she wanted. I understand why.
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by... If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance but you can't bring... What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, if she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same...
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle...
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was...
I'm truly sorry.
It's all right. Let's say.
So, the ending.
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When the end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through.
You really think...
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being...
No.
Well, we'll leave this.
Come, let's... here!
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an app.
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too!
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from... Aha! I found something. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolve. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proof.
Lachey took so many lives. It's still so
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigate. Wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the... Her final words are... I'll let you read them.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her... wait. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and...
Isn't that the most important line in the Little
Because I am an older...
Oh!
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and Let's go.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death,
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving.
She did her best to protect. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. Well, Vilmont, if we put the
I will channel all my regret. I won't ask for.
Then it seems.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless, if you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role. And aren't you? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending.
Actually, before that, I'd like during the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my.
Huh? But that.
After all, this role was originally meant to. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that.
All right. I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that O'Reilly's story is
No, though that's not what I.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I have no problem with it then. I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nerilette. I know just where to find him. Hey, look at that! Looks like I guessed right. I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for...
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating, I'm looking for... I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
Huh? What do you mean?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from...
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about... Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But...
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you suddenly have...
Well, if the little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater the experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, it would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talent.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again, nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I must admit, though, I'm a little envious.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finale.
Thanks, Nervalect.
You are very welcome.
Good news, everyone! It's thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, we've had to fight a touching story. Now, let's work.
This is
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation.
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far.
It's amazing. Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage.
Leave this place, O little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen...
What should we do? It's almost time for...
Hey, what's going on? Oh no, not again. But
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing...
what? I thought they cure it. So they were only managed.
I figured whatever it took to get me through this
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave,
I'm sorry.
you.
Miss Furina?
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. Loic, your character has no more scenes.
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess enough.
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll... From this...
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting... No one likes regrets. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's...
I do not doubt your acting skill. What, in your opinion, is the reason
It's her pure heart, despite all the...
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in...
she here yet? When will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je suis serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté, et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now. And she just... Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as...
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear... Still, it felt good to be...
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Hey! That's not what we agreed on!
Oh! So it was... She's back!
Honestly, what is he doing?
All right, calm down, don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contribution. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
Yes, I know the rule, but...
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision.
Oh, that... I've got no idea what happened there either. I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic...
Wait, what about Dolphy?
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we...
Yes. If nothing else, we can safely say that we...
I thought Cleo's actress sang very well. Why did they swap her out at the end?
I don't know. Maybe that's just...
Did anyone see where Miss Furina went? Oh, I want to get her autograph, but I can't find her anywhere.
wasn't expecting such an incredible performance from an amateur troupe. They didn't seem out of place on the big stage.
Yeah, their technique could use some polish, but the performance in general felt very believable.
What a surprise! Seeing Miss Furina on the stage? This ticket.
Yeah, I agree. Say what you want about.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication.
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage. You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end.
No, don't worry. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final.
Well, one way or another, we did. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a—
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to—
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for after the brilliant performance? You could capital.
No, we should still
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our directors and—
You should do it.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered. What about you, Miss Furina?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure you rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the
Sorry.
It's quite all right. Maybe Nervilette was right. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all. Yeah. There was once a time when I wasn't but from now on, I want to watch them block, I'm sure.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what effect.
If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor. It's ironic to think that in my whole time and now that the gods have given me their blessing, is...
I mean, of course.
There'll be plenty.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, thanks to all your help. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me...
Now that the buzz is worn off, I feel ready to